Mondieu taking a bit of the back leg with her. Trying to find something on the open side. Resets around. Nice work from JinX. Gavish. Into the open side. Anna GER collects a point of some consistency, level-headedness. They didn't want to let it go. They worked it all the way in. And Rachel Douglas is alongside me to bring you some comment and analysis all the way through this. Rachel, what a game we've got ahead of us.
I am unbelievably excited to be here watching this game. We've obviously seen YAKA on the stream a couple times this weekend, which has been an absolute pleasure. This is the first time we've managed to capture JinX. Just didn't align on the schedules, and they've come in firing that first point, a masterclass in how to play offense. Really, really beautiful, calm movement. Always waiting, finding their reset, moving the disc around. Some really beautiful releases around the force, getting the disc onto the side of the field where they can maximize their space, and a really calm hold there for JinX.
Yes, the tournament this weekend in Brugge. Tom's Tourney, a favourite in the early season Elite Ultimate calendar. 60 teams out here. Enjoying some incredible Belgium hospitality, brilliant breakfasts, lovely family atmosphere around the tournament village, lots of players seeing each other again for the first time in 2 years. And the Ulti TV crew, myself and Rachel, have been made to feel extraordinarily welcome here. YAKA, they've played some tough games. They won an outstanding game against Shout in the semi to get here, but JinX going to put them under some pressure. Their opening offensive point. GER takes it, looks upfield. There is a cut available. Delaval is lurking, but it goes across instead to the 26 shirt of Mateus. Meisel sends the big launch, Delaval chasing it down, she reads it in, and it's smooth and clean for YAKA. The Meisel missile launched absolutely flat.
Perfectly timed cut, perfectly weighted throw. That's YAKA coming out the gate firing. I think we've seen in a few of their earlier games, perhaps a little bit slower to start, maybe not playing their systems quite in the way that they want. They've clearly made that adjustment, and as you'll see these experienced teams doing, they've learned the lessons from their previous games, they've made the changes they need to make, and they're coming out with another really flawless offensive show here.
Kathy Meisel with the final score of the semi-final. It went to sudden death, that one, and bringing the disc down for YAKA. Currently residing in Belgium, Leuven, and taking the fairly sizable commute down to Paris to Noisy-le-Sec for their practicing national side player. Mondieu with the disc just jogging across the line. Legend in French Ultimate, legend in European Ultimate.
One of the Euro stars. She sort of made a name across the world, I think, and she's put up a nice big pull and shows why people know her name.
Disc bounces into the hands, and GER the set pops it quickly forward to Rita. Rita, nice leading pass. Second time of asking, has to be grabbed by Flora Scala. A little touch maybe on the fingertips. GER just reaches forward, realised straight away that was going to be too low, just launches, takes it, picks herself up. That's why she's the class of the field. Mixing it forward to Rita, into the end zone, and again JinX looking assured as they take it in.
Amazing grab from Anna GER there, demonstrating why she's one of the World Game members on this team. Yeah, outstanding performance, and then excellent to be able to stand up after the excitement of a really big athletic play and calmly get it to your teammates and work it in again. Another example of really chilly and calm offense from JinX.
And we were chatting to Victoria Muller on the sideline for JinX, injured here. She tried a couple of warm-ups at the start of Friday, but realised quite quickly that wasn't going to help her season ambitions, so she's taken a break. But she's saying, having watched Anna GER play since the age of 14 and seeing her succeed at junior level, under 23s, where she was in London as a very young member of that side, dominating the play, so quick, so athletic, and the throws that she has to offer as well. You see why they anchor the team around her. 2 clean offensive holds for the Germans. The French with a few questions. Wind-wise, Rachel, bit of a breeze today.
Yeah, it's absolutely picking up. It's definitely going to have an impact. I think we're already seeing it affecting some of the throws. It's coming from the far side of the field towards us here in the commentary booth. Definitely something that both teams are going to need to make sure that they're adjusting and putting enough spin on these throws to get past it.
Delaval, if it is anything, it's coming slightly from the left as well. There is much more across the field. Tisson for YAKA. Taking time, Delaval providing a reset, but it isn't taken, and now the stall counts high. She has to send it long. Dubin has cut free at the back of the stack, and that's visionary put on a high stall count from Tisson. Meisel waves away the first shot, sends it breakside to the, brilliant cut from Valet. She had 2 options, and Meisel providing both the assists here in this steady start. What high-level ultimate we're seeing from these 2 teams. Unbelievable.
They're just come out the gate firing. Both teams so happy to be here in this final. It's very early in the season. Both teams trying to build momentum and grow as a squad before heading up to Cincinnati for the World Games. Definitely very pumped up, very fired up to be here in the final. They had to fight to get here. As you mentioned before, the women's division has been hugely competitive. Both of these teams taking a loss on their route here. YAKA defeating Shout in the semi-final to get into the final, a team which JinX actually lost to in the pool stages. So yeah, it's been all to play for, and they've really had to fight every game, making sure that they secure the wins. So when you've had to work this hard to get here, and you're finally here, you've reached the end point, to the final of the whole tournament. Yeah, they've definitely both got some momentum, some wind in their sails, and yeah, the atmosphere here is just wonderful.
Yeah, it's ironic, isn't it? So the team that the other side beats to get here had already beaten the other one, if you see what I mean. So JinX beat Krut, and Krut had previously beaten YAKA. So this women's division is a really high quality, any team can win on any day. The disc goes up, it's going to be pressure underneath it. Paula Bass does the touch, but doesn't do enough. Oh, JinX riding the luck a little there, but it comes up in blue shirt hands.
There's some luck there, certainly, but that also is an opportunity that you have when you have 2 bodies under the disc. JinX hustling to get down there, making sure that if their first teammate can't get it, the second teammate is going to have a go. And that only happens when you have a team that you know are going to work hard, put their bodies under the disc, and make as best a bid as they can.
The 47 shirt of Fenja Gavish for JinX, bringing that disc under control. Paula Bass got a touch, didn't do enough.
Yeah, unfortunately, in this sort of game with these sort of competitors and facing down these sorts of matchups, if you get a touch, you're really going to need to make sure you see it to the floor, because they're definitely going to put everything that they have into making sure that they retain possession. So on these defensive efforts, it needs to be very comprehensive.
Completely clean game so far, no turns, 5 points in, and under this breeze you will expect there to be some errors, but so far the women's final here at Tom's Tourney proving to be a very special occasion. Really high quality care. JinX with a different look with the defense here. Spreading the play now, YAKA. Valet getting it back into the hands of Mateus. Valet continues the cut and working it nicely. Pressure arriving, it's just been called back for a travel there. Marie Wuchstein. Big bid required from Delaval, and she stands up gingerly, and she's going to be taking injury. It's such a hard field out here, Rachel. We were walking around on it earlier. It's like concrete. Yeah, lots of players are complaining that their boots actually aren't even sinking in. They're just sort of almost like running around on high heels, their cleats just making them slip a little bit more on the surface because it's just that hard. So some of these layout bids, they're really putting their bodies on the line. That was a great effort to keep that disc in play. Mon Dieu. Inside break shot. Oh, it's almost a mirror image of the shot that JinX used. That inside shot from Mondiaux. Finding carefree. 3 each. No turns. Incredible ultimate here.
Beautiful, yeah. Just opening up that inside lane, I think, is something that YAKA are always going to exploit. They have those really nice, fast, decisive, inside-out, laser-like throws. We've seen them score twice on those now, as you mentioned. So it's great if JinX can recognize that and maybe put a little bit more work in to try and close down that channel, because if they leave it open, YAKA are going to hit it.
Maybe the handler mark sagging off that 1 yard would prevent that shot as well. But with them being so close, Mondiaux is able to get around the mark and throw that break pass.
Yeah, you basically want to give Mondiaux no space at all. She'll take whatever she's given and she'll make the most of it. So definitely someone that JinX will be looking out for. Just to mention Chloe Valet in that last point, such an important player to get around that JinX defense. They were looking a little bit zoney, a little bit poachy at the front, but Valet just slicing through that, and I think getting more or less every other pass.
Big shot downfield, carried by the wind, bounces once. And again, the same start as we're seeing Reader to Gerner in the middle of the field, looking for the lefty reset. Something's going to have to come out and arrive quickly. Castillo, so oppressive as a defender, just taking away the space. She eats up the ground. Gerner busting up the line, nothing coming. Now Reader's available for the reset. That's a really good set of cuts from JinX. Continuous effort from this German team. Oh, brilliant drop of the shoulder. Loses Becker. Gerner down the line. It's all coming down this open side line. The break is being prevented, but they can still keep working it down the open side. Wagner within inches now. Reset around. Now they've got a bit of space on the break side, and they exploit. Reader front, and that is great work from JinX. Kept pounding the lane on the open side, getting free every time. They couldn't break around the YAKA mark, but eventually they did, and then they opened up the field for an easy point, and it's more clean ultimate. JinX leading this one 4-3.
Yeah, amazing show there. Really seeing that sort of maturity and ability to sort of judge the play and take calm options. Simona Liebert there making a great cut to the corner of the end zone, but the JinX player just had a look, thought actually maybe that's a little bit too tight, put in the fake and waited for the next option, which immediately presented itself. Just really demonstrating how you can move the disc quickly, you can put in these big efforts, but it doesn't mean you want to rush. And I think JinX are demonstrating that really well.
Yeah, team offense from JinX, very nicely coordinated. Reader with the assist.
Yeah, Reader doing a great job there just to take stock of her options, quickly make the calculations and take that higher percentage choice.
The disc is going to go out of bounds. You saw one of those in a previous game get caught on the line. And Toussaint wise to let that one roll away. And a turnover. Disc coming to JinX, and the first turnover of the game. That deep shot not controlled by YAKA. Across to Vayner. It's going to be some, just to the turf. The disc got caught in the wind, pushing it down all the way. The wind coming towards us with that leading edge down. Dropping out of the sky, not making the yards necessary. And again, big poach in the lane here.
Yeah, Anik will be disappointed with that, how that throw came out. Oh, another turn. So we've gone from no turns, 3-4, no turns, and then 3 turns in just a space of a few minutes.
Back in the hands of JinX. Schulze. Over the top. Vayner. JinX D-line finally getting some success. Schulze again. Change of direction. Sends it across the top. Visionary puts. Well read all the way in. Schulze with the provision of the first break of the game. It goes the way of JinX. 2-point margin.
Yeah, an aggressive choice of throw there from Schulze. I think most people looking at that would maybe think about doing a hammer or something that's going to come in from the other side, but she decided to go with that really bladey forehand. And I guess the virtue of that being that it sort of came over the heads of the defenders, came across the top of the stack, and the defender wasn't able to really see, I think, the trajectory of the disc well enough to get under it for the defense. But great job by JinX there, recognizing there's been a few scrappy turnovers and they just needed to sort of focus and put that in, and very well done to them.
It's also with the assist. So the first turns of the game and the first break to the Germans, the team from Berlin, and they make a very clear point that this is a team from Berlin. All of the players local to the Berlin area. They have some international players in there, but they all live and work in Berlin. No extra pickups from out of town coming for the World's Year. I'm really proud of the strength of their women's side, and Wall City doing a great job at the opening elite tournament, winning Bologna Open. So Berlin Ultimate rising high at the moment. That one is headed to Van Week, but again the deep shots. That time it was Becker overshooting the deep downwind. Some adjustments need to be made, Rachel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there might have been a little bit of a miscommunication there. I believe that she thought someone was cutting from the back of the sack into that space. That throw did go down pretty quickly, so perhaps that was a poor communication and not the execution that they were looking for.
Coming out of the space, Muchtin. She has it again now. Low disc, but it's kept up well. Back across to Ness Anik and Muchtin again. No real cuts coming now. Ness Anik cutting, but it's gone deep and picked out of the sky neatly by Becker. Finds Bass. Castillo cutting. The YAKA O-line delighted to have the disc back in their hands. Castillo looking for Bass down the line. Bass changes directions and then sends it. Mondio's the target. Runs over the head of Ness Anik, who misread that, but Mondio was right in the spot.
Yeah, just attacking that a little bit early. Anik will be disappointed. She knew that was going. She wanted to get into position, but didn't read the disc quite as well as Mondio did. Unfortunately there, going under it far too early, in fact, and it went quite significantly over her head and straight into the hands of Mondio for the score.
They needed to steady the ship, the French. And despite that turnover, they got the disc back. They looked a lot more comfortable going forward with the second possession. It's been a very, very good day for Noisy-le-Sec, the suburb of Paris, where YAKA and Isno Good both hail from. Isno into the men's final, YAKA into the women's final. 2 sudden death wins for the Parisians. YAKA now come up against JinX out of Berlin and playing incredibly well. They won the Bologna invite at the start of the year, Rachel, and they're looking in form here as well. Yeah,
absolutely. And YAKA were at that tournament. They did manage to beat YAKA to secure the win at Bologna. Be interesting to see this now as a rematch.
The wind really picking up here. It's we have a big canopy above our heads. It's not started to move yet, but if we do disappear from the air for a moment, I imagine you need to look for us in the next field.
Yeah, it's very gusty here on this main field at Tom's. We've got quite a few trees around the edge, which do shelter you to some extent, but it can also kind of make the wind change direction a little bit, make it a little bit more unpredictable. So we're getting a few gusts, so it's quite hard to make those adjustments.
The YAKA zone has been a pain for some teams to get through. Let's see how JinX fare with it. It caused an awful lot of problems for Grutz. 4 players around the disc. The quick movement of Gerner, an ever-present threat in the centre of that cup, popping nicely through Reader. Tisson comes through with a block, but it's caught more arm than disc and an uncontested foul.
Yeah, I think this is a slightly different zone than we've seen from YAKA so far this tournament. They seem to have a sort of a box set up around the handler, broken to person now though.
Simona Liebert, another one of the World Games players, was the player involved in that foul. Sprints off deep, very tall figure for this German team. Played U23s in London in 2015, but that disc has got just a little bit too much pepper on it. Overcooked shot down the field from Rika Wagner.
A lot of space for Wagner, maybe just getting a little bit too excited there. There were some JinX cutters moving into that space, but that was quite a sort of ambitious shot. Definitely had the wind behind her, which isn't going to help to keep that soft and gentle and catchable. And so unfortunately, that was just a bit of a poor decision making, I think, from JinX.
More touch, less zip required. Again, it's a poachy zone here. They're almost baiting that throw, but the stall count got high. Delaval says there's no call on that. There was some touch on the disc from the defender.
That's going to be the toughest area of the field to move the disc upfield, facing directly into the wind with very few options. So a hot defense there from JinX.
Beautifully weighted pass into space from Gerner. Liebert looking for the shot into the end zone and finds one at the front corner, and it's a goal. Rika Wagner getting the disc back and porting it in as a second goal of the game to go with the 2 assists she's clocked up already.
Very smart defense from JinX there. I think they recognize that that is the low corner. They recognize that this bottom corner of the end zone, looking upfield, is going to be the hardest area to move the disc from. They put a really big force on, and I think what we were looking at there is just another person poaching in the lane. I'm not sure it was a full zone. It was just a bit of heads-up defense, taking away that throwing channel and making it really, really impossible for YAKA to see where they could pass to and to get a good line on one of their downfield cutters. And of course, we saw that was really effective. Got the turn right on that end zone line and put in for the score quite comfortably.
So a hold. The turns have started to arrive. We went through the first 7 points of the game completely clean, just trading clean offensive holds, and then the break to the way of JinX, and then 2 holds for the offensive line, but both with a turnover before the disc arrived in scoring hands.
And we're seeing both teams switching up their defense. I think they're both trying to keep the other side on their toes, not let them know what's coming next, and just make sure that they're not prepared and they're always on the back foot.
This one's a Japanese style pull there, short pull. Maybe it's the wind. It's giving the defense plenty of chance to get there. This goes over the top. Becker, Mondiaux on the far side. Big hand comes across from the 11 shirt of Julia Tesch, but cannot make contact. YAKA still have it downfield. Mondiaux running. Paolo Bass had made the cut, but it wasn't found. Resetting. That nice inside shot from Mondiaux, creating a bit of space. Castillo cuts from the back and a pick is called. Wind whistles around the fields here as the Battle of Bruges continues. Tom's Tourney bathed in sunshine, but a chill breeze, keeping the air conditioning thoroughly turned up to 10. Into the end zone, Becker grabs, and it's another offensive clean hole, the most high quality women's game that we've seen all weekend, and it's in the final.
Absolutely, it's very early season, and so a lot of teams that we've watched, you know, we're seeing a lot of amazing plays, but perhaps teams struggling to kind of keep their game and keep their cool all the way through every point of the game, and we've seen sort of big momentum shifts and teams really trying to figure it out. But we're not seeing that as much in this final. We've seen 2 teams already clued in, already dialed up, come in, came strong. Didn't see a turnover until well into the game. Obviously, we're seeing a few now, but I think that's just a result of the continuing build of intensity, the changing of the up of defense, and as we said, these sort of windy conditions making things a little bit unpredictable, but absolutely a masterclass in ultimate here. 2 incredible women's teams, both on their road to Worlds, both seeking to look for the win today, but also to get as much sort of experience and practice playing together as they can out of this tournament, and it's such a delight to watch.
Care for YAKA. That's perfectly balanced on the wind, getting lots of yards, and the four-person YAKA zone sprints upfield. Gerner gets the disc moving quickly. Liebert has it. Back to Gerner. Sends the disc across with a buttery smooth forehand. It made light work getting around this YAKA zone, and it dissolves to a one-on-one match. Gerner with the reset, sprint up the field. Hard pressure from Valet. The tall figure with incredible speed has been a menace in the end zone, but equally good on the mark. Now getting it down to Scala. Again, Gerner available for the reset. Into the end zone, it's caught high, there he goes. And Simona Liebert with a second goal of the game. The tall 14 shirt bringing it down, and another clean hold.
Yeah, incredible there. Just really demonstrating how to play calm offense against a zone defense, and then YAKA had a really nice transition from zone into person, but JinX just unaffected. Usually when you have that sort of zone look, it can kind of make players feel like they don't have options. It can disrupt their flow. JinX just did not allow that to happen. Really calmly moving that disc, taking great options with really high percentage choices. Moved it quickly. Didn't really let YAKA hold their setup on that zone. Really made them kind of chase after the disc, and then calmly putting that in for the score. A really big point for Anna Gerner, but really demonstrating how critical she is for this JinX offense, moving the disc around, going and getting free, making sure they had a reset. A great point for Anna Gerner.
Yeah,
sorry.
She's an essential tool in their offense, isn't she? Because she's so mobile, but her throws are incredible as well. So smooth. I remember watching her as a youngster. It was because of her speed. She tends to be put deep. But here, I mean, she can still go deep and she'll beat most players. But her ability to get free continuously on offense is so useful to this team. But Castillo for YAKA sends a big disc up. Oh, it's caught the wind beautifully. And Van Week adds to her total for the week, bringing it down. Esther Van Week in the 6th shirt, always the target. Castillo with the perfectly balanced disc, so much time. And we talked earlier, Rachel, about using the wind, and didn't she just do that so effectively? Yeah,
absolutely. I love to see that. That's exactly the kind of play that we want to be seeing in this final. So exciting, so decisive. Castillo there. If you've watched any of the other streams with YAKA on, you'll hear me discussing how I think she's been such a pivotal player, such a massive player for YAKA, and just demonstrating there that she's maybe their equivalent of Anna Gerner. She's a threat behind the disc. She's got that huge arm, as we just saw, a beautifully weighted throw, put right out into space for her teammate, but also is a massive receiver and a threat on defense as well. But I really loved that option. Van Week doing a great job of hustling to get down there, and that throw was just perfection, hit her right in stride.
We're really tickling through the scoreboard here. It's half an hour gone. It's a 60-minute game, hard cap at 15. We will add one on the cap, but whatever happens, it's a hard cap of 15. So it's a cap plus 2. So it's a 2-point cap if we get to the hour. I'm not sure we'll get to the hour. One of these teams starts to pull away, gets a couple of turns, it might be a much shorter game. But so far, the offense of having the run of it. Those turnovers that were here a few points ago have gone. Gerner again, big space, no YAKA defense. There's an extra person over deep. Bit of a mismatch there. Paula Bass and Della Val marking the same player. Now it's back in the hands of Wagner. Wagner into the end zone. They've made that too easy. Venya Gavish with a second goal of the game. Rapid fire action from the team from Berlin.
Very frustrating for YAKA there, just to have that little miscommunication as they ran down. It's really easy to do. I think most of us have been in games where that's happened, and you suddenly realise that two people are marking the same person as someone left open. JinX did very well to recognise that and make sure that they go and attack the disc, that unmarked player, getting a pass that gained them a lot of yards. So yeah, another great point from JinX there. A little bit disappointing for YAKA just to have upset their defense on such a small detail, but something that I'm sure they'll tighten up and it won't happen again.
Well, yeah, Rika Wagner standing in the middle of the field wondering if she'd said something wrong, because everyone's just ignoring her, sitting there going, oh, I have all this space to explore. I can do whatever I like.
Yeah, I'm sure she didn't take it too personally and just decided to maximise it for the opportunity that it was.
Yeah, JinX quick to exploit the YAKA defensive mistake and stuffing it in for an 8-6 lead. Just the one break, but it's a break with a German name against it.
Sideline getting really fired up here. We've got a big crowd here for this women's division final. Lots of players, I think, are done with their play, and lots of people have gone and grabbed lunch, sitting out in the sunshine. We see quite a few shirts off, people maybe getting a little bit sunburnt. The wind's here, the wind's out, so we're feeling cool, but it definitely is still a sunny day. But yeah, everyone having a great time at Tom's Tourney, enjoying the great food and watching this unbelievable demonstration of women's ultimate in this women's division final.
And that was half time. There is we've not had halves all the way through this game, but there's a 1 minute half in the final. So with the score at 8-6, JinX taking the half. YAKA will come out in the second half. So the Tom's Tourney action hotting up. Just to give you an impression of what the situation is here, myself and Rachel are sitting here wrapped in at least 4 layers. It is very cold in the shade, very hot in the sun. The wind coming towards us in the camera, but don't let the pictures fool you. It's an interesting weather condition to play in. YAKA, big arm, Castillo underneath it. She chases it down, she reads it well, she catches it in and opens the second half exactly as they wanted to, with a point.
Yeah, excellent move there from Andrea Zenz, just recognizing that they actually had, I think, two YAKA players moving into that space with their defenders trailing, and just able to put that throw out nicely in front for Maria Castillo to go and collect comfortably for the score.
So JinX started the game on offense, YAKA starting the second half on offense. Still that one break to the way of the Germans. The difference between these two sides. It's hard to call this one at the moment. The incredible women's division here at Tom's Tourney. All 7 of the top teams have taken games off each other. No one undefeated. YAKA being beaten by Hrut ladies, and then Hrut were beaten in the semi-final by JinX, who are down here in blue. JinX were beaten by Shout in their power pool, but YAKA knocked them out in sudden death in their semi-final. So the women's division there's no clear favourite, and it is down to what happens on the field, and we could be more excited. Interestingly, JinX came into this tournament as 10th seed.
Yeah, that was a little surprising, I think, when the player packs went out to see JinX down in 10th seed. They are, of course, coming into this tournament off a win at Bologna. I think perhaps all of the seeding decisions had been made, and they weren't really clear on the roster when that went out.
Big shot coming up here from JinX. Simona Libert comes down with it. Oh, it looks so smooth and easy. The 28-shirter Rika Wagner with her 4th assist of the game. She's dominating this game. 2 goals, 4 assists for the 28-shirt, and Libert just sprinting free for another goal.
Yeah, JinX demonstrating they are definitely not a 10th seed team there. Really showing us why they're here in this final, the clinical nature of their offense. It's so clean. They see where their players are going. They can trust. They know where the cuts are going to be hitting the space, and all of these throws are just precision. They're coming out pinpoint, perfect weighting, perfect flight path, and right into exactly where the cutter wants it. So, I mean, it's. Don't know what more to say. It's just perfection to watch. It's so exciting to see this quality level, and again, so early in the season. You know, this is essentially a sort of a warm-up tournament for these teams. Their trajectory is to get fired up and get ready for Cincinnati, and then following that, their national seasons and European season. But it's just unbelievable that this is sort of the early starting point for them.
Well, there's a lot of ultimate to be played, especially for the 7 players from JinX who are in the World Games, German World Games side. World Games is a mixed division competition, only 14 players in that squad, so big contribution being made. Van Week coming out of the deep space and now finds Bass. A stall out call, a stall out has been called. Castillo, and it's been called as a stall out. Its hands are waving, everybody's standing still, but I don't think the deep receiver had realised.
Yeah,
Van Week.
Heartbreak for Castillo there, so excited to have that score, working hard downfield, but just not realising that there's a call on the field and the disc has to go back.
Naomi Geiger, the 10 shirt for JinX, calling that stall out. It'll be, I think it's been contested, so it'll be coming back in on 8.
I was surprised to see a stall out called out. Uncontested. Yeah, it felt like that 10 seconds went quite quickly, but if that's what they've decided on field, then that's the call.
We have seen this a couple of times. Van Week, such good speed to get herself free, has occasionally looked slightly nervous with the disc. Anik throwing across the top of the stack. Paula Bass lets it flow. Castillo going deep, big straight up force, preventing that from going. YAKA, their O-line cannot afford to get turned again. They cannot afford to be scored on again. Van Week, the disc just darting upwards and downwards as Castillo kept her eyes glued to it and took it down neatly. She goes back, Van Week goes back again for the hand into that handling position. Deep shot goes up from her. There's pressure underneath it and it's taken out decisively in the end zone. JinX moving it quickly now, looking for the deep shot, but it doesn't go. Schultz there with the big takedown for the defense, and she might have to do another one to keep the disc alive. She does. Oh, fingertips of Paula Bass disturbing the flight and getting it down to the turf. Nothing that Vena could do.
Yeah, Paula Bass doing a great job to make sure that goes down, and that's her second defense of the point.
A bit of a messy point for both teams. YAKA looking for a spicy hammer into the open space, needs the layout, keeps it up. Is she out of the zone? It's a goal. It's been signalled as a goal by JinX, and a great grab. The 52 shirt of Anne Le Bon bringing it in. Oh,
cool on field. Oh wow. Such an athletic play from Le Bon there. Massive effort. Such a great play, and right in front of the crowd. They really like that play, and they really like that's been allocated as a point.
Yeah, I think the knees were down. The disc was so low when she grabbed it. The knees hit the deck, and they would have been in the zone as she was running out. And it is such a wonderful occasion. The wind blowing really quite hard into our faces across from the other side of the field. That hammer just forced down. Discs don't fly upside down that well, Rachel.
Yeah, well, Mundio obviously is just demonstrating here that she can throw whatever she wants in whatever conditions. I think most of us would have looked at the gusts blowing at that moment and decided against a big hammer, but not her. She absolutely backs herself, and rightly so. An amazing option, and a really athletic play by her teammates to bring it in, since it maybe wasn't quite what she'd expected. It didn't come out exactly pinpoint, but all power to her for giving that a go, and well done YAKA for coming down with it.
JinX, another upwind point. Gerner needing to adjust quickly. Reader gets that low disc up on a big catch. Luckily, everybody avoiding contact. Libert coming out of the deep space to relieve the pressure and take the disc down. Wagner brings it across, still available for the reset. Gavich finds her. Pops it up. Wagner again in the reset space. Gerner in the same space, needs to move out of there. She has done now. The YAKA zone still lurking around, creating problems, forcing these passes. And in the wind, any of them could go up, and there'll be players running in hard to get that turn, clean up the garbage.
Yeah, this YAKA zone being incredibly effective. We've seen them pull this out game after game this weekend, and it's doing its job. It's really been pushing JinX back, not giving them downfield options. They're having to dump it, they're having to swing it. Now they're finding some routes through the middle, but YAKA really containing this JinX offense.
Gerner to Reader. So that's not Reader, we think that's Charlotte Schall. There's two number 6 shirts. Gerner. Schall, and a pick has been called.
The number 6 shirt of Charlotte Schall did start the first point with a sellotaped on 7 to make her a 67, but unfortunately that seems to have fallen off.
The disc is going to come back. This is wrong. Gerner. Still with the disc now, exchanging fast movement, fast cuts down the line. Wagner getting a little bit of contact, and there'll be a foul call from here. No, Wagner just picked herself up. Liebert coming out of the end zone. No, there is. We expected Care, a very physical, determined player. No shortage of enthusiasm and energy from her. She's got horizontal, she runs hard, but Wagner quite right to complain a little bit about the contact there.
Hard to get it right at this level. Everyone's so competitive, really athletic players putting big bids in, but of course have to make sure that they're not initiating contact.
Violation. Sorry, Rachel, yes, you're quite right. Violation just called as the disc came back in. Make sure this game finishes cleanly. Wagner. Quick movement. Pop over the top. So it's Liebert with the disc. And another bit of too much contact. The complaint from Wagner that Care, Rika Care, 1 goal so far in the game. And the throw was a high stall count, emergency bail into the end zone, and Care may have caused some contact, but players agreeing that that wasn't the cause of the turnover. Be interested to see how Wagner reacts when she's marking her French counterpart. Valet, always available. Gerner trying to contain her. She continues down the line. Delaval, disc across the top, that's visionary, and Delaval reacts quickly, snaffles it up, but there's been a pick called in the stack, and it'll play stops again. Delaval looking tired, she's run so hard this weekend, having to react fast.
Delaval doing a great job to come down with that. Of course, if she wasn't able to catch it, the pick would have been declined, and the turnover would have stood. So great job running that down, and now they can just resolve this call and bring the disc back in. I think the question is whether it stays or it goes back, and the decision is it goes back to that throw before.
See, Delaval's got absolutely rock solid flicks, but that is a directly upwind, just catching the grass. When the pressure isn't on, the tiniest errors are going to be amplified by this wind. Deep shot downfield, read well, straight into the ground. Oh, just didn't need any defense. Gerner opens up the shoulder straight away. It's going to have to come back in. It's bouncing in the wind beautifully. And Wagner reels it in. GER getting on the scoreboard with a big put downfield. That's unbelievably, that's her first stat of the game.
Yeah, she's been so pivotal, but that's the first time she's actually got on the stat sheet. Massive backhand from her there, perfectly weighted. A really difficult throw. She was throwing from this home sideline, the sideline closest to the commentary booth, directly up that same channel, right out, and managed to get a perfect shape on it to put it comfortably in front of her cutter, who could just run onto that for the score. And the YAKA players were chasing it down, but unfortunately just those few steps behind. Really nice heads-up play there off of the turn.
Yeah, Wagner with just the most incredible set of stats for this game. JinX have got 7 points, but sorry, JinX have got 10 points, but 7 of them have had YAKA Wagner involved. 4 assists and 3 goals for her. GER with her first assist of the game there. And 10-8 is the score. This women's final here under the Brugge sunshine at Tom's Tourney. The 26th edition of the tournament, back after a 2-year hiatus, bringing you the quality under the blue skies. And a turnover for YAKA. Paula Bass not able to reel that one in under the pressure from JinX.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Mondio was hoping to achieve with that one. That was perhaps a little bit more aggressive than required.
Schultz there sends it downfield, giving the disc back to YAKA, but making them do the work all over again. The wind is blowing bottles around in our commentary booth.
Both teams just looking a little bit worked up. I think the kind of the positive and fired up energy perhaps now taking a shift. There's been a few calls, there's been a few throwaways. I think both sides just need to take the breath, recall how they played at the beginning of the game, and try and reset back to that sort of calm, level-headed offense.
Always wanting to start strong, and that's what both of these teams did. 7 clean points to begin this game. The women's final, real showcase of European quality ultimate. Huge fake from Mondio. Arm stretch into the space. Disc goes up. Van Wijk coming out of that deep space. Schultz for company. That's going to be a great matchup. 2 speedsters. Castillo. Disc is floated, but downwind that'll drop in her path perfectly. Mondio again. Big fake. Oh, this time the break side. What a visionary put from Mondio. Can it stay in? Paula Bass reads it. Mondio. She had no right to throw that disc. Paula Bass sees it early, gets on the bike and scores for YAKA.
Absolute scenes. That's unbelievable vision from Mondio there. Again, thinking through, she's got all these different throws that she can put out there, and to choose that beautiful, really well weighted, really well executed inside out backhand out into that corner. The catch from Bass was under pressure, but she managed to come down with it and reward for that visionary play there from YAKA.
There was no vertical gain on that disc at all. It was just the wind that held it up for Bass. No sort of, it wasn't really an inside-out shot, really. It was just a flat disc into that space. But look at the fake. The fake creates the space, and the disc's beautifully held up. The crowd's loving it. Paula Bass loving it. Back within 1, YAKA.
Yeah, Mondio playing the conditions perfectly there, as you say, just the wind sitting underneath that. I think to get that flat disc, she had to throw it with IO, but that's the experience of Mondio. She knows how that's going to sit and how that's going to fly in the air, and it ended up coming down really flat, and that's her really understanding the conditions and playing to them.
Valet on the mark for YAKA. GER with the disc. Quick exchange of passes with Charlotte Schall. GER has it back again. He really anchors everything for this offensive line. Flick of the wrist across. Schall again, and this time into the hands of Rieder. Rieder extending the play to JinX with GER. Blue shirts combining nicely. That's going to be high. It's going to be too high. Pressure on the far side of the field. It gets touched off the top. JinX on the floor, but it's a turnover into the wind and a chance for YAKA to level this one. They beat Shout, not through the most skillful game, but just with the most persistent game. They stuck around, they were on the shoulder for every pass. That's how they got into the final, and that is how they're playing against JinX. They will not lie down, they're fighting the whole way. Meisel now looks downwind, looks downfield, surveys it, doesn't see what she wants. Toussaint cuts. It's going to be a high disc, and it's caught a fingertip off Toussaint, and it's down into the floor. Reader with the turn. Oh, sorry, Charlotte Schall with the turn. Back on the end zone. Gerner calming things down, strolls to the disc. Reset to Wagner is available. She cuts in, looking for something frontside, backside. There it is. And Lisa Reader. The YAKA body language tells a story. We need to regroup. We need to go again. That was the chance, but they couldn't take it.
Clara Matthias, I think, beating herself up there a little bit with that one. I think she was very, very close to making a play, maybe even got a touch to it, but just couldn't get that defense on that short, quick pass into the end zone for the score. Quite frustrated, I think, from the YAKA defense, knowing that they can be getting those turns, knowing that they can be shutting those down, but just needing to fire up again, needing to get that momentum back on their side.
Well, Aline Mondiaux, captain of YAKA, was chatting to us when we arrived on the fields with expectation and enthusiasm on Friday morning, and just spoke about what their vision was for the season. They wanted to be the best team they could be, and they worked so hard on their mental game, this stoic approach that they wanted to take. We control the things we can control, and they worked on their energy levels, and they, like I said, against Shout, that's how they won the game. They made mistakes, but they didn't let it affect their game. They stuck in there and eventually came up with a sudden death win against JinX. They are not going anywhere either, but they are under pressure. That O-line out here on the field again. Schulze with the big wide mark, big shot going up. It's going to get caught in the wind. It gets smacked to the ground. A little bit too easy this time for the Germans. They have the disc back in the hand with a chance to break and a 3-point margin if they can put this one in. The French have opened the door. Can they slam it shut again? Oh, it's just beyond the fingertips of Nessanique, and a brilliant shot to the far side. Castillo bids, he can't bring it up. It's back in the German hands. French hearts aflutter, the crowd loving the action out here at Tom's Tourney. The beautiful blue skies of Bruges giving us a spectacle of ultimate in the women's division. Final. Big shot downfield, Mondiaux underneath it, and she grabs it. It was just beyond the outstretched hands of Naomi Geiger, spreading the play now to Van Week. Van Week. Becker needing to keep the feet sharp, and a pick has been called in the stack. Paula Bass regaining her position. We all get a chance to catch our breath. It's very hectic out here. Both of these teams needing to score. The YAKA O-line out here under some significant pressure. Becker looking for a reset. Van Week in the handling space. It's another high disc. Made sure it went to the ground. Nessanique sweeping up the garbage. A high stall count disc. She picks it up now. Schulze cuts. In the middle is Geiger. Geiger extending the play to Wehner. Back to Geiger again. Back to Wehner. Those two players combining well. It's Geiger once more. Wehner's available on the reset. Just the two getting involved every other at the moment. Floats over the top, and it's out of the hands, it's out of reach. Hugo.
Yeah, YAKA leaving a lot of space for their offense, which is great to have that space to attack into, but it does mean that some of these throws are just not connecting. They're put out a little bit too far.
And Katharina Schulze just taking an injury sub. The ground is incredibly hard here, and a lot of the players have been talking to us on the sideline about how uncomfortable the studded boots have been to wear for a long weekend. Just exhausting, energy sapping blow by blow. Every stride is a painful one. Castillo launches the arm. Van Week in the end zone, and she reads it perfectly and takes it down. YAKA steady the ship after a long offensive point. They score that one, bring themselves back within one.
Both teams playing with some fairly unshakable confidence. That we'd had a lot of long shots in that point that weren't working out. Castillo didn't blink, you know, she saw those cutters going deep. She knew that was an option. She backs herself to make that throw and launches it deep in a really well executed arching backhand nicely into the end zone for the score. Not phased by the fact that a few of those similar attempts haven't played out for them. Still really willing to take the option that they're given and deliver what they know they can.
And Esther Van Week's second goal. Castillo with 2 assists now in this game and a goal as well. Van Week was topping the stats in a few of the other streamed games we have. But it's interesting to see her in the handling position. She's looked a lot more assured in the last few points.
Yeah, great when you have that depth across your squad, that your players are able to change up their positions, to respond to whatever they're going to need to throw at their opponents.
Quick movement from JinX gets them a few quick yards. GER, unsurprisingly, in the centre of the handling line, and she has it back with her now. The YAKA zone, Meisel, Valet, and Zenz. Disc moving quickly across. Those are 3 quick defenders who are trying to move the disc around. Charlotte Schall on the far side. Really nice work from JinX, moving it quickly, moving it around the cup. Finding a way through to GER. There's a space in the end zone. It just needs to float. It just needs to fly. She just needed to get horizontal and collect it off the floor. JinX re-establishing that 2-point margin in the breeze. Impressive stuff from the team in blue.
Leva doing an excellent job of showing why that's her 4th point of the game, why she's the leading point scorer there for JinX. So able to see that disc coming in, she'd made this incredible cut, made sure she was free, had lost her defender. That throw definitely bobbled, you know, that disc coming in, changed height a little bit. Her adjustment was immediate, going to ground to make sure she secured that right in front of a cheering crowd, which is always great. She'll have a nice boost from that one, I think.
Well, it didn't look like she was going to need to bid for it, because it looked like a floaty disc, but with that crosswind, it's coming towards our cameras, and the top of the disc just getting pushed down into the turf.
Yeah, a split-second change of direction for the disc, but as I say, she didn't hesitate, immediately just changed her approach, going to ground to secure it, which otherwise she wouldn't have needed to do, but that's the experience, that's clearly just instinct. You know, this is someone who's caught a lot of discs and her body knows what to do.
Former under-23 player for Germany. She'll be part of the German World Games side in Alabama before she makes her way across to Cincinnati with JinX. Busy summer of top-level ultimate. Keeping your head in those sorts of conditions is going to be tough, but YAKA, Mondio showing the form, but she couldn't quite keep it up above the wind. You can see the frustration in her face as she runs up. Van Week again the target.
Yeah, a very aggressive option, but the space was there, the throw was well executed, just a kind of momentary gap in between the timings. I think just half a second, just a millisecond later, and I think that would have been able to be brought down for the score, but YAKA just not able to connect on that option. Now JinX back with the disc.
Big moments here, and GER crossing over to the D-line. For the first time in the game, actually, we've not seen GER out on D, but she's here now. They want to see if they can close this game out. It's the final at Tom's Tourney, brought to you by Ulti TV. Myself, Tom Styles, alongside Rachel Douglas. Proud to bring you the coverage here from the Battle of Bruges. The Belgian hospitality bringing a sparkling festival of ultimate. Castillo, YAKA and JinX finishing it off beautifully in the women's division. Mondio Crossfield, Becker adjusts, catches in stride. Mondio coming for the reset, but it's a miscommunication. She'd already gone down the line. One more time, Paula Bass in the end zone. And it's a connection that works. It's a connection, and Tourney throws the lead pass into the end zone. Paula Bass collects, and YAKA steadying the ship with a clean hold.
Tourney doing a great job there of recognizing that dump pass wasn't really going to plan, getting herself in the mix, making sure that that comes down as a YAKA disc, and then calmly looking into the end zone for a really nice cross-field pass for the score.
Sorry, it wasn't a clean hold, but it was a hold. It was a hold.
It was a hold, which is what counts in the end.
Yeah, JinX, interesting, we saw Anna Gerner cross over to the D-line for the first time in that point. I wonder if we'll see that again. Just seeing if they can finish this game off. They've been really rigid with their O-line, D-line. We've not seen any players cross over up until that point.
Yeah, JinX definitely using this as an opportunity to practice within their lines and make sure they're getting those connections. If this is the system that they're looking to take to Worlds, they really want to make sure that they're maximizing the opportunities to respect the way that they're going to play and make sure that you know, that the players who are going to be playing with each other have those connections well established. I think we've seen so far today that they are very well established, but of course that's something they're always looking to work on, always looking to improve.
So the time cap has gone on. So it's at the end of this point, we will get a clarification on this, but at the end of this point, if YAKA score, it'll be a game to 13, I believe. We'll get that confirmed. We've got the rules for us here. Finals, it's a cap +2, but with the timing of that hooter.
Unclear if how this point comes into play.
Yes, whether if it's a cap after this point or a cap because the hooter went in the gap between the 2 points. We'll get that confirmed for you. Gerner on the sideline. Gets back. Again, going every other, the 17 shirt. Lefty, threatens the lefty, doesn't send it. YAKA going for a one-on-one defense now as Gerner launches one deep. Delaval is in perfect position to snaffle it. No chance for Liebert. And YAKA with a chance now for a break and to level it up. And they call a timeout.
Timeout called, a really critical moment for YAKA if they want to stay in with a chance of winning this game. This is such an important point for them. We do have this cap +2, so it is more of an opportunity than we've seen in previous games, which ended when the game ended. You know, the time went and the scoreline continued as it stood at that moment. But here we have an opportunity, but YAKA will be in with a huge challenge if they don't manage to put this point in. Yeah, well, just seeking clarification on exactly when that hooter went off, because it does make a big difference as to what they're going to be playing to and who's going to have the advantage. So really important that we know exactly what the goal is.
Well, just looking down our stat sheet here, there has been one break in this entire game. JinX started on offense. There was a break when it was a bit of a messy point, but JinX eventually took it to 5-3, and it's traded and traded and traded. And all the way through to this 12-11, but YAKA with possession, and they know how crucial. If they can punch this one in, that will be huge for the team from Noisy-le-Sec in Paris.
Both teams coming out of this timeout really fired up. They know what this means. They know this is a really important point. This is such a tight game. Every single player on the field giving it their all, putting everything they have into each effort, each defensive effort, each throw, each cut. So it's really exciting. We're having a great time. Such a high standard for this women's final, and which is really representative of the division as a whole. Such a competitive women's division, and it's such a wonderful occasion to be able to see these two teams matching off for the third time They've each come away with a win at different times so far this season, once in Bologna, once earlier in the tournament. So this is now the kind of the rematch. They're at 1-1 on their wins against each other, and this is going to be, I'm sure they're really enjoying this opportunity to play each other again.
So Boris has confirmed, finish this point, add 2. We're all nodding. So we don't know what it's a game to just yet. It's more ultimate right here on Ulti TV, bringing you all the action from Tom's Tourney as Ali Mondio, and there's a point block, absolutely straight out of the hands, into the outstretched fingers of Lisa Reader. JinX with a chance to bring it back. Gerner out of the stack, marked by Mondio. A bit too much contact on the back leg, and a foul call. Uncontested by Mondio. She wasn't sure it had been called, but as soon as it was, she went, well, yeah, I definitely hit you.
Yeah, that sort of was quite a subtle arm motion there to call the foul, but I think immediate recognition that was a legitimate call.
Plenty of time to regroup, redirect. Through the middle to Gerner, looking for a way into the end zone, and JinX have put it in. It's a game to 15 here, and JinX maintaining that 2-point margin. A point block on the end zone line from Lisa Reader, preventing YAKA from making the progress they so badly wanted to make.
Yeah, that'll be a big upset for YAKA, coming out of that, calling a timeout, hoping to really be able to maximise that opportunity, trying to get the momentum and then shut down before they even have a chance to complete a pass. Reader doing an excellent job with that foot block, really decisively stopping the YAKA offense in its tracks. And then a textbook calm goal from JinX. Very, very calm and clean and collected. I think we've seen quite a few more sort of spicy, exciting looks in the last few points for going for goal. That one, a textbook display of end zone offense.
And a second assist for Anna Gerner. Mention her name almost every other pass when the JinX offense are out on the field, but it's other players that have been doing the scoring. Rika Wagner with 4 goals and 4 assists, the 28 shirt dominating the stats for the team from Berlin. And they are a team from Berlin. They wanted to make sure that we mentioned that. All the players living in the Berlin area, there's no out-of-town pickups in the World's Year. Really proud of the scene in the German capital.
Yeah, we went to speak to them for a couple of minutes before the game, and I think in about a 6-minute conversation, 6 different people told us 6 different times.
They're all from Berlin.
They are from Berlin, there are no pickups, and they're very proud of it.
Paula Bass to Aline Mondiaux. Back to Delaval. Oh, beautiful pass, and this wind to keep that disc so steady. Delaval straight towards us here in the commentary booth. Oh, the fingertips of Delaval could not quite wrap around. This could be a big body blow if JinX can put it in. Vena collects from the sideline. Marked by Matthias. It's a rangy shot over the top. Never looked like it was going anywhere towards a JinX player. Not the start that they wanted after that turnover.
A blessing for YAKA there, I think.
Finds Meisel. Steadies the feet. The attentions of Jasper. She gets around in a lovely floaty disc into space. Mondiaux. What can she find now? The cuts are running out from YAKA, trying to find something up the line, but the heads-up defense play. Mondiaux raises her hand. There was no cuts for her to throw to, and a brilliant piece of defense on the mark, just staying that yard away, preventing that up-the-line shot that they know Mondiaux can throw if they get too close to her. She can throw around anything, and a big bid. Nesanik keeping it alive for JinX, and another bid required. Another bid comes. JinX fighting hard to get this turn, to get this break. Jasper looking. Pressure on the back from Delaval. Schulze looks up the line. And Mondiaux comes through with a run-through block of her own. Naomi Geiger
These teams are fired up. These teams are fired up. They are really, really fighting for every single pass, every single look. It's incredible to watch.
Bass to Mysel over the top. Mondio the target. It's found. And YAKA, they're clinging on and fighting to every disc. They're still within one. This game is not away from them yet.
Yeah, YAKA doing a great job there. Mondio reading that disc, getting fired up. She was disappointed with the turn just moments before, so it's always really gratifying to be able to be the person who gets the disc back for your team, particularly at such a pivotal moment in the game for YAKA. Mondio with the D there, really decisively getting YAKA back in this game, keeping the dream alive, and getting another score on the board for them. That point we saw JinX laying it all out on the field as well. A few discs that maybe went a little bit further than intended, a little bit of a catching in the wind, and we saw a number of layouts just to make sure they keep that offense going. Ideally, they'd be maybe making that adjustment so they don't keep having to lay out on this hard ground and stop pushing their players quite so far. But I think it's a real testament to the pressure they're feeling from YAKA, that they're really they're overshooting some of these discs, and I think that's a result of the defense being so strong. But all power to JinX for coming down with them and making sure that they're making those plays.
The offensive line from YAKA has been turned over 10 times. The offensive line for JinX have been turned over 4 times. There's a big margin, but the really impressive thing is the recovery rates. 100% recovered from JinX, and 6 out of 7 times they've recovered for YAKA. Just the one break in it still. That 5-3 was the break moment, and since then they've traded. The offense points scoring every single time, but it's been tense. There's been so many opportunities for both teams. GER again. Charlotte Schall. GER catches in stride, the two of them moving up nicely now with Rida. Rida has it. Upwind, well balanced. Disc, oh, and it's a poor throwaway into the ground, into Valet. That's the first real nervy looking mistake we've seen.
Yeah, just the release there, it seemed to come out of her hand. Maybe it caught on a finger or something along those lines, but after such great offensive movement, moving it through that cup, moving it upfield, not letting YAKA get their defense reset, very disappointing to have an execution error like that.
The French just will not go away. They are sticking around. Mondio cutting around. Again, big pressure. High grab from Becker. Stall count rising. Not much to look at here from the French. They've not got any cuts. And it's a throwaway. Stall out. Uncontested. Stall out. It's a turnover. Mondio shouting to the crowd.
Yeah, she wants to hear her sideline. She wants to have people talking to her.
Uncontested stall out is the call. Sorry, Rachel.
Just Mondio speaking to her sideline, making sure that they're aware of what's going on field, that they're contributing. You know, there's 7 people on the field, but they have a full squad that needs to be fully invested in this defensive effort from YAKA.
JinX with GER. Looking for the reset to Rida, finds it. GER again. Mondio doing the work with the legs to keep up with GER. Again, go. Come on, I need you to cut. You're the one that can't stop cutting, Anna GER. And the signal, it's a mistake from JinX. Care with a low disc. Oh, Delaval, oh, sorry, is it Becker goes to ground, couldn't collect it. JinX with another chance. Big contact from Mondio. Uncontested. And an apologetic Ali Mondio. GER cutting. She looks tired now. She's had to work so hard. The rest of the JinX team downfield static, waiting for something magical to happen, but they might need to make it happen themselves. Number 6 now, Rida. Floaty inside, and it's a low grab, and it goes down as a pick been called. And is it going to turn over, or is
they will allow that turnover to stand, I'm sure. Pick declined, turnover stands. Both teams definitely looking very tired at this point. You know, this is the last game for them after a full 3-day tournament. They've had a number of games. They've had really intense games. And so this is a really tiring moment, but they just need to dig deep and get that extra level. Their final isn't over yet.
Matthias, Becker, Van Wijk in the end zone. Tisson available in the reset. That's what she's looking for now. Big hands up, but Tisson makes it. Van Wijk coming underneath. No pass. She's looking out on this wing. She's been left by Gerner. Mondio. Mondio sends it. Valet the target. It's a big touch. He's going to hang, and it's caught. And YAKA are on even terms. Unbelievable scenes out here, as JinX with an opportunity to get the turnover. Instead of catching it, they mack it into the air. Valet receives, and we're tied up at 13 apiece. After such a long time of trading, they've broken back.
Unbelievable effort from Chloe Valet there, able to see that the defender was coming in. Defender make a great effort to get a hand on it, but she had the presence of mind just to stay aware, keep an eye on that disc, and come down with it. She'll be very happy with that effort, and that's be a slightly devastating moment for it's number
Liebert.
14 shirt, Liebert, yes, for JinX.
Liebert. She's had 4 goals in this game, but really should have caught that. It's so tempting when that edge of the disc is down. All I think I need to do is just bang it away, but with it flying the way it was, just helped the YAKA player get into position. 13 all. The Toms Tourney Women's Division final is the most exciting game we've seen all weekend. A fitting finish under the Bruges skies, the Belgian hospitality, the smiles around the stadium, the energy of the crowds. Elite level ultimate back on your screens courtesy of Ulti TV and Tom's Tourney. Myself, Tom Stiles, alongside Rachel Douglas, with a real pleasure to have the chance to bring you this incredible action in the women's division. It's a game to 15. This is not the final point. Gerner again. I would love to see a pass count for Anna Gerner in this point. She's had so many touches. She is looking weary now though. Can they keep going if she's looking tired? She has the disc again. Absolute anchor role she's played. The cup crashing through. Again, it's Gerner. The red headband, so distinctive. This time it's Rieder. And through Gefuish. And across to Charlotte Schall. Not making any forward progress at all here. Liebert cutting out the deep space with a very jogged, very casual. Now Gerner goes down the line with a real sprint, but it doesn't get found. They need to find a way of getting through. YAKA can do this all day. Charlotte Schall trying to find her way through. JinX out of ideas here. They need to come up with something quickly. On the end zone line now. A body blow it would be. Liebert's cutting deep, so it doesn't send it. Now they've got a bit of space, but pressure from Tisson takes the option away. Brilliant play from YAKA. JinX having to work so hard just to keep it alive. Rieder, Schall, Wagner. The movement isn't there anymore. JinX looks up the line across the top of Bass. It's brilliantly caught. That's the yards they need. Liebert is looking for a cut. Can she find something? Castillo is there. Schall looks down the line. Wagner goes. It's looked off. Devastated as she turns. Rieder to Gerner. Can they find a way in? Valet covering that near side. It goes, resets back. Gerner sets off for the crossfield pass, but Becker blocks it out the way. Wagner tries to cut to the front corner, taps it back in as she comes out of the end zone. Rieder again with it one more time, finding a way through. It's a crossfield pass. Liebert to Schall. Oh, it's a touch, and it's a knock away, and it can't be contained. and JinX found a way through the YAKA zone, but they could not complete the point, and YAKA, having been down the whole game, have got a chance now to take the lead with 1 point to go. Oh, goodness me, Rachel Douglas.
It's a bit too much to handle. I think our hearts are beating here on the sideline, just watching it. Can't imagine what it's like for the players. Meisel there with an unbelievable defensive effort on the end zone line.
Valet gets it back. Paolo Bass gets it forward. Delaval breathes deeply, surveys the options. The French still look like they've got energy, but they've also got mistakes. GER capitalising. Can they put it in now? The 17 shirt has rescued the disc from the French. Anna GER on the far side with a deep shot. Liber, the target, is he going to hang? She grabs it, she takes it down, it dribbles out of her hand. The crowd feeling every moment of pain.
That was an incredible effort there. Such devastation that she wasn't able to hold on to it, but a real athletic play, really demonstrating how much this means to them. They're able to go to ground and put their bodies on the line to try and bring that score in. They're all tired, they've been working hard, it's been a long weekend, but even here in these final points of the final game, really putting everything they have.
Oh, big advancing pass from Bass. Valet on the bike, Van Week on the bike, she's chasing it down, she's going to get there, and she scored for YAKA. They take the lead, they have a chance to come out on defense for this game. The Tom's Tourney final in the women's division is an incredible match. The French sticking around and showing persistence, point after point, and they're finally, their hard work is rewarded with 2 breaks in a row.
Such a huge effort from YAKA there, celebrating like the game is over, but I don't know that they realised they have another point. Yeah, okay, they're just that fired up that you would think that was for the game, but no, they know they've still got one more point to put in. Got to get this defense and try and secure the game. They don't want to give JinX anything, don't want to give them another chance. I think there's a short time out here maybe from YAKA, just trying to collect and make sure that they go in and use this advantage that they worked so hard to get.
This is missed opportunities from JinX. YAKA have stuck around. They're persistent. They're annoying in their persistence. They just will not go away. They will not lie down. Their amazing resilience to keep going. JinX scored at 13-11, and since then they've had a chance to score. They've had 7 opportunities to put the disc in, and every time YAKA has fought back. They've forced mistakes. They've made the JinX offense look tired and out of ideas.
Yeah, YAKA absolutely just continuing to push and really finding that next gear. There was like a little bit in the middle where it looked like maybe they were not connecting as well as they usually would, and just finding a few challenges, and they've just really turned that around and shifted momentum. JinX now, as you say, looking a bit tired. That YAKA zone really forcing them to work it around the back, which JinX did with a lot of patience and work that downfield, but YAKA are not going to give up on that, and we saw that incredible defensive effort on the end zone line by Delaval, securing that for her team, and then a really confident shot upfield, turned around, moved the disc quickly. YAKA getting that huck up for Van Week to receive in stride. It was just beautifully executed, and a really kind of, they're not scared. They're not playing scared. Both of these teams are really showing that they know they still have that depth of play, and even though it's very deep into the weekend, they're going to keep bringing it out for us and for our entertainment.
Mondio puts up the disc. Meisel, Kerr. We've got Matthias, Becker, Tisson, Delaval. This is the power line for YAKA, wanting to put this one to bed. Opening their season with a championship win at Tom's Tourney would be the dream start for the French. It's a big disc, and Meisel picks it off. She sprints to the end zone. Kerr picks up quickly. Great reaction defense from the Germans. This is the chance that YAKA have looked for. Can they finish this game with 3 breaks in a row? Dishes it back to Delaval. Pressure. It's all about the pressure. YAKA sends it downfield, and it's been picked off again. Again, Meisel the target. This time, It's Rieder that gets it back into German hands. Gerner has it now. Liebert on the far side, having taken that big layout in the end zone at the previous point. It didn't quite connect. Both these teams shortening their lines. Incredible action at the end of this women's final. European Ultimate at its very best. Finding a gap through the YAKA zone. Looking a little tired now themselves. High disc from Gerner, catching the wind, but it's safely collected by Flora Scala. Charlotte Schall running back. Rieder, confident grab. Sends the disc across. Wagner surveys the end zone options. There aren't any. Cuts again. And a touch from Delaval. She gets the hand out ahead. It's defensive pressure from the French, which was winning them this game.
Delaval coming in clutch with that defense. That's the second time in 2 points that she's got the turn right on their end zone line, denying JinX the score that they're so desperately looking for. A really huge effort. And again, YAKA with a chance to put this in for the game.
So the game ties on this possession. Mondio looking back to Tisson on the reset space. Meisel again, seemingly endless energy, sends it downfield and it hits Wagner in the back. Becker was the target. Meisel's had a pretty flawless game up until now, but that was an error. Clutching it in the wind. Rieder takes the time, no pressure from the French. Sends it up the line. Gerner adjusts the stride, bends the back, sends the big arm. There's going to be Liebert underneath it, but can she get it? No, she just took a foot off the gas.
She didn't know that was coming. She didn't know that disc was coming up. You could see as she started making that cut, that wasn't the decisive deep cut of someone who knows that they're about to get thrown to. That was a miscommunication there. They didn't have that connection between the thrower and the cutter, and unfortunately she just wasn't aware that she needed to be going for that.
Simona Liebert looking exhausted. Tisson available on the reset. Mateus with it now. Mondio and a contact made in the stack.
Not sure what the call is here. I think it was perhaps potentially two JinX players that connected, but I think there was in effort to get the disc.
Liebert has got Delaval, and Delaval comes underneath. Liebert, big arms out, trying to stop this pass. Tisson available. Looking down the line, it's a high stall count again, straight into Wagner, straight to Gerner. It's the JinX disc again, coming back upwind. High pressure, Rieder. Wagner was not quite committed with her cut. It goes to Gerner. Schall cutting across field. Tired German legs. Exciting YAKA defense and the big pressure moment of this game. Scala sends it to Liebert. This time it's clean. This time it's caught. And we are at sudden death.
This is so exciting. It's such an incredible game. We're so lucky to be able to be bringing you this on Ulti TV here at Tom's Tourney. The crowd is really fired up. We've got a lot of the French is no good boys on the sideline cheering for YAKA. We've got a lot of people around the side of the field just really enjoying this display, getting really amped up and celebrating that excellent play from JinX, bringing this game back up even at 14, game to 15, sudden death point.
Incredible action. You would not be able to see this if it wasn't for the work of Ulti TV out here at Tom's Tourney. We're incredibly fortunate to be here. Tom's Tourney welcoming us. And if you enjoyed the coverage wherever you are, just do say thanks by clicking that like button. Free to YouTube. And you can also, if you want to and you're able to, you can contribute to the efforts of Ulti TV traveling around Europe on their Patreon. Just drop them the price of a cup of coffee each month and you can help directly grow the sport of Ultimate around Europe. The pinnacle of the women's game in this important world season. We are seeing it right here. JinX determined not to let that go. YAKA with 3 opportunities to break the Germans and take the game. JinX have fought back and it's 14-all. It's universe point and YAKA are coming back upwind with a chance to take the game. What incredible action. Tom Stiles and Rachel Douglas, the most fortunate commentators in the world right now.
Yeah, losing our minds in the commentary box, watching this masterclass. Can't wait for this point, can't wait to see how this goes. Whichever team walk away with the win, both can be incredibly proud of the display they've put on here. Unbelievable play from both teams.
cuts underneath. Wagner on the mark, big low hand, stop that deep pot. We know she's got an arm on her. Preventing the forward pass now, it's over the top to Della Val, who makes a really jinking cut and loses the attention of Rida. Forward to Valet. Simone Liebert drops a foot up into the air, into a path, into a line of sight. It's a reset option to Della Val. She comes over ahead, but she reads it and has time, leading the receiver. Gerner takes it away, goes to the ground. It's going to be a big bid. There's arms in the air, and it's come down with Castello in the end zone for YAKA. They win the game. Incredible action, but it's a French win for Tom's Tourney. Noisy-le-Sec.
Absolutely unbelievable play. Really contested final pass. You can see two blue JinX shirts trying to make a bid on that disc. Maria Castillo, who's been such an important player for YAKA throughout this weekend, making a determined cut, coming down with it, holding on to it for the win. She'll be so happy to be able to secure that for her team, for the title at Tom's Tourney, and just an incredible game. I can't wait to watch it back.
That was magnificent. Let's have a look at the replay. That final port. Anna Gerner getting sucked into the fake. So important to show your fakes. And the disc from Mondio wasn't perfect. Castillo still had a lot of work to do to get down to it under a lot of German pressure. That reset to Della Val created the space. Mondio available. Look at the dive from Gerner here, but that huge fake buys her the time. Not the perfect shot. Wagner bidding hard into the back of Castillo, but she doesn't care. It's a massive win for the French, a massive win. YAKA takes the Tom's Tourney gold medal here in Bruges under the sunshine, and we're going to go away and catch our breath. And we've got more action from a French team from Paris. Noisy-le-Sec in the form of Is No Good, coming to you just a moment here on Alti TV from Tom's Tourney. If you think that game was special, and we certainly do, just share it with your friends. Please, that's all we ask. Take the link, share it with your friends. People need to see that game. Amazing action. Rachel, just wrap it for us.
Oh, what can we say? A masterclass in women's ultimate for that final here at Tom's Tourney. YAKA coming away with the win in sudden death. JinX giving it everything they had. And yeah, a wonderful way to finish.
Thanks for watching. We'll be back for more from Tom's Tourney soon.
Merci beaucoup.
Alti.tv